LA is 1,000,000% f***ed. They're destroying themselves. We're gonna arrest them all. We're gonna deport them all. We're gonna send them all to Alligator Alcatraz.
The LA riots just exposed their scam, dude. I love it. It's all falling apart for these people. I think we are actually entering a golden age. I think Trump is right when he says that we are in a golden age. I don't know if we're in it, but we're definitely entering one. I can feel it. It feels like Civilization 5 whenever your gold starts to go way up and everybody is in awe of you. And we start doing the Love the King Day. That's what this is feeling like. Does it not? Anybody else feel it?
After USAID was dismantled, I was wondering what would happen to all these heavily coordinated anti-ICE riots, and after the 4th of July, now we know. As remember, these were massive movements all across the city, where basically foreign forces faced off with our own law enforcement. But as Julio Rosa shows us, at the federal building in Los Angeles, there's basically nothing left, with Anthony Cabasa seeing them make these makeshift barricades.
Bro, speaking of 4th of July, I've been seeing like posts of people doing parades and stuff that are like anti-America. Like, oh, America's dead. We're gonna march in the streets and shoot off fireworks and celebrate. And it's literally just a 4th of July celebration. These people are fucking retarded, dude.
That aren't really stopping anybody. So not only had their numbers disintegrated, remember, the first riots had mysterious individuals dropping off expensive bionic face shields. And today's protests had handwritten signs saying, "We the people does not something," with what looks to be a handout of talking points. Cam Higbee saw a sign saying, "You hide behind violence because what you're doing is inhuman and unforgivable," right behind a sign saying something incredibly violent. And Los Angeles did not survive the fires just to be taken by ICE.
Bro, these signs, like, I can get a sign that's like, "ICE sucks," but what's with these long sentences that nobody's gonna read these fucking signs? It's like WWE with these signs. But they're not clever. They're not cool. They're not funny. If they were, maybe they'd have something behind their movement. But they're not. And they're clearly written by somebody who were handing out these signs. They like made a whole bunch of signs. That's why they don't have any like care to them. That's why people don't care. Like, how are you gonna wave around a sign that doesn't even speak English correctly? Are you fucking retarded? Do you even know English? Apparently not. Apparently they are fucking retarded.
Now, I can't criticize anybody's spelling when I can't either, but this disorganized, oftentimes
Did they even look at the sign? Did they even look at it?
contradictory assembly of activists just proves how inorganic last week's protests really were, as it's important to remember that Trump had to bring in the US Marines to supplement the National Guard to finally get Los Angeles under control. And this protest only required a couple SUVs worth of extra Marines, as these activists were easily shoved aside to allow them to arrive.
Oh, but people are allowed to protest. This is Nazi Germany. Like, bro, there's a way we do things. There's a way we go about things. You're allowed to protest, but you're not allowed to be a fucking idiot. Well, I guess you are. You're not allowed to be a fucking idiot criminal.
With even the return of their tactical shaman, who was powerless to stop them.
What the fuck? Tactical shaman? What's a shaman gonna do? It's like they're trying to emulate what they think happened at January 6th, but in the streets.
Even when the Marines
whoa, hold on. Fuck Donald Trump, fuck Donald Trump. Who wrote that? Somebody wrote that. Is that handwriting or is that printed? Oh, it looks like it's printed. Somebody printed that. That's fucking stupid. That's insane. You're not gonna see me wearing a shirt like that that said, like, fuck Kamala Harris or fuck Joe Biden. That's crazy.
Even when the Marines were merely setting up, the protests seemed to subside.
Yeah, because people know that Trump's not fucking around. And these are Trump's people. They're not fucking around.
And as LAPD started to move in, making arrests of genuinely peaceful protesters,
Hold on.
making arrests of...
You see that? You see his legs? Wait.
And as LAPD started to move in, making arrests
This
of...
guy's terrified. His legs are trembling. Like, what is he even doing? Are those Red Bulls in his hand also? Like, what is that? What's going on here?
genuinely peaceful protesters.
What is in his hand? They look like Red Bulls. Oh, it's spray paint. Or something that's got the marbles in it like spray paint.
Anthony Cabasa stated, within minutes, all protesters left the area. It's
Of course
almost
they did.
like without massive funding from mysterious forces, these so-called protests simply don't exist, as seemingly every shot of this group shows 5 journalists for every 1 activist, if that. And it's not just LA, as a post-millennial shows us 26 days into Portland's federal building protest, there's about 10 of them. And in equally liberal Seattle, the activists are also powerless to protest there.
You don't have to prove nothing, just move.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's funny that once all the funding dries up, so do these stupid protests that aren't really even protesting anything that's real. These people are protesting against things that aren't happening.
You get run over, it's on you.
What? What? Oh, yes! If you get run over, it's on you. That's what needs to happen. Stay out of the streets, you fucking idiots. Don't be in the streets where people are trying to drive. These giant machines that are thousands of pounds, that if they're driving the speed limit and you get in the way, you're gonna die. Like, come on, man. Be smart. They can't.
It's almost sad to see these activists continue to waste their time with this unemployed behavior.
Oh, it's fucking hilarious, man. Yeah, all these people, nothing better to do. They don't have children, they don't have jobs.
Likely, they thought they were part of this huge movement for social justice, when it was probably mainly paid for provocateurs from out of town.
And a bunch of people that are virtue signaling online who think that they know everything about what's going on, but really they just read what other people like them say about it online and they just parrot those issues. They parrot those talking points. And really nobody has any idea what they're talking about. And if you don't think that I'm right about this, go over to Threads and see how fucking many idiots there are.
They quit once the money did, and now they're just the left behind volunteers that were destroying their own city for free. As a lot of people point out this moment of when the riots in LA finally ended.
And we also have the IRS here that's helping us track how these violent protesters are funded. What NGOs out there, what unions, what other individuals may be funding these violent perpetuators that are in these protests that take people who may be wanting to come and be peaceful, but instead turn these into very violent activities that go after law enforcement.
And it wasn't just an empty gesture.
And I'm Tyler Hatcher, the special agent in charge of IRS criminal investigation here in Los Angeles.
Last week, we arrested an individual who was charged with conspiracy to commit and aiding and abetting civil disorders. These violent agitators put peaceful demonstrators at risk.
The FBI and our federal partners will continue to investigate individuals and organizations who are knowingly funding or committing acts of violence against law enforcement, as well as the destruction of property.
It'd be one thing if it was just like a bunch of agitated demonstrators out in the streets. It's another when there are actively people funding these people. And they're acting like it's okay. Oh, but people are allowed to protest. People are allowed to protest. Yeah, but these non-government organizations and these corporations don't need to be the ones who are funding all of these things to happen and handing out signs and paying people. It's disgusting. Obviously bad.
We are currently tracing money to determine who is providing funding for these.
Corporations shouldn't be allowed to protest, by the way. Regular people, sure. Groups and organizations and corporations and businesses, big businesses, some small businesses, I think it's okay for businesses to protest. But like, when you are run by some of the most powerful people in the world and you're funding all these anti-government things to happen, and all these stupid people to crash out, and you're putting bricks everywhere. Oh, but it was construction sites. They just happened to be there. We just happened to drop them off right before all of the protests and demonstrations started. Oh, we just happened to drop them off right as soon as everything happened.
These riots.
And that alongside how USAID was finally dismantled, ending American tax dollars flowing into suspicious funnels. Interesting how countrywide, every single city saw their massive liberal protests immediately cease activity, where I really wonder, without USAID, will we ever see another anti-ICE or BLM-like movement that essentially holds every US city hostage until the Democrats get their way? Which
I also think there's a lot of things being cracked down on, and all of the people that were funding all of these things have their hands tied. They're busy. Because a lot of them, they were funding all of the illegal immigrants in all these places that were harboring illegal immigrants. And now, you know, that's a thing. That's why a lot of people were upset. That's why a lot of these demonstrations happened, is because a lot of these organizations that like illegal immigrants and want illegal immigrants to be over here, they fund all of these things to happen. And as soon as they get cracked down on and they start sending all the people that they were perpetuating these cycles of money for, all of a sudden, everybody starts crashing out, you know? And then, it's funny, once we all get them gone, or once we get them all gone, once we have 0 people coming over the border, all this shit starts breaking apart. And it stops happening. Funny how that fucking works.
which would be terrifying to think that our own tax dollars funded every single one of those riots, but I'm starting to think this isn't just a tinfoil hat theory, because it wasn't like these anti-ICE...
Dude, I have been saying this for years, that there are these entities inside the government and inside other governments that are all working against everything good that we are trying to do. Because they are trying to give powerful people more money. And they're trying to make people who aren't so powerful more powerful, and take money away from regular people to enslave us so we can own nothing and be happy. And it's almost as if the good and the evil are splitting apart, and it's becoming more and more obvious who's who.
Riots stopped because they actually accomplished anything, as on the 4th of July, we have Trump doing his dance, as he just signed his big beautiful bill.
The motion is adopted.
This is that big beautiful bill is pretty bad. I think it's going to do some bad things. I think it's going to do some great things. I think it's going to do some really bad things too.
Which a brief recap shows us, it has the largest tax cut in history for middle working class Americans. No tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security. Protects family farms from double taxation. Rescinds billions in Green New Deal funding.
There's some crazy shit though about gambling that's in there. I don't like gambling, but also I don't like squashing people's freedom to do things that they want, even if it's kind of not good. That's one of the things that I don't like about it. There's a few other things. I'm not going to get into it because I'm not a political channel, so I'm going to leave this one here.
Secures the border and deports at least 1 million a year, and most relevant to this, hires 10,000 new ICE agents, 5,000 customs officers, and 3,000 border patrol agents.
Oh yeah, I like that. I like to see that.
Which, if America's ICE was a standalone military, it would be the 3rd most funded force in the world.
That's fucking insane. Let's go. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for
Joe Biden opening up the border. Kamala Harris, she was the border czar. She did nothing. She didn't even go down there. They were just allowing all these people to come in. It was an invasion. They took over our country. Not anymore. We took it back. We took the country back. And now we're getting them out, sending them to Alligator Alcatraz.
It's almost like all that looting in LA did them nothing. As if anything, it only provided Americans proof that we do indeed need a massive overhaul of our immigration system.
Yeah, it looks really bad whenever you got a guy standing in front of a burning car, wearing a ski mask, flying a Mexican flag with his shirt off. It straight up looks like ISIS. Did he have his shirt off? I don't even remember. Oh, he didn't have his shirt off, but like, this kind of crap, man. This guy was the guy I saw with his shirt off. Smashing a skateboard through a car window. Like, Get the fuck out of here with that. You got stuff like this. Yeah, this straight up looks like terrorism. Why did anybody think this was a good thing?
Now, I do understand there is division within the America First voting bloc, stating this beautiful bill is only going to increase the amount of government spending. But how quick do people forget? Trump ran on fixing the border, not necessarily balancing the budget. It's never good to run a bigger deficit, but just look at the left melting down over the bill, saying it'll make ICE bigger than the FBI, Bureau of Prisons, and the—
Good. But honestly, we probably need to downsize the FBI and the DEA and all these three-letter agencies. Honestly, I don't think that we should have boosted ICE this much either. I think we could have been just fine on the road that we were heading down. We didn't have to make the path bigger. Because all I'm seeing from this is like, yeah, it might be good now, but what is ICE going to do later whenever we need to defund them and pull them back because we've already done everything? What are they going to end up doing? Because whenever you introduce a power to the government, it almost never gets rolled back. And it usually gets worse and bigger. Like, where's this going to lead? I don't like it. But I'm not going to bitch about it too much because for now it's doing good. And there's not really anything that I can do about it.
The DEA combined, where she was eerily silent when Biden wanted to hire nearly double the amount of IRS employees.
Like, all this stuff that Trump's doing, I know this is becoming a political video. All this stuff that Trump's doing, all the good stuff that he's doing, sure, might be great, might be amazing for the country, but I'm worried about, like, what's going to happen later, after Trump. What's going to happen after the possible presidency of J.D. Vance? Because I can see him being the next president. What's going to happen when you get some lunatic in there doing all the same stuff, but for the other side? The in quotes, the other side. Somebody who pretends to be a leftist, but really they're just fucking an insane freak.
It's almost like they shriek and cry over Trump looking into their potential voter base, but seemingly cheer on the idea of Biden looking into the American taxpayer again, proving they don't actually care about expansion or contraction of government agencies.
They just care about whatever their side tells them. That's what they care about. If the leftist news media tells them not to like something, then they don't like it. If they tell them to like something, then they like it. That's just how it is. And it's kind of the same on both sides. The right is a little bit better about it, where people on the right will see something they don't like and be like, that's not good. Guys, this isn't good. We're going to have to be completely against this thing. And then they will. I like that. Most of the time they sit on their hands, though, and do nothing.
Programs. It's just their default reaction to be against whatever Trump accomplishes.
True.
While they accomplish what? A historically—
oh, this may be a good thing that Trump did, but actually, here's how it's bad. That's all that I hear from the left, even whenever Trump does something good. The leftist media, I should say. Because there are plenty of places on the left, plenty of people on the left, who are actually normal fucking human beings and aren't trying to lie and pretend that they're leftists, but really they're apolitical chaos mongers.
long rant against Trump on the House floor, rambling for nearly 9 hours, saying nothing, and miraculously accomplishing even less. As even CNN has to admit, the majority of Americans want exactly what Trump is doing. If you ever wondered what happened to all those theater kids after high school, here they are.
Yep. They made their way into the media and politics. You know, all the things that requires an actor. They're all actors. And they're pretty good at it, I gotta say. A lot of these leftist freaks that are pretending to be leftists, they're pretty good at it. They make a lot of people fall for them. But I ain't buying it.
And it's truly tragic to see them waste all this time, crying and demanding that the actual adults give in to their demands. But that's just what happens when you don't grow up. You don't know anything beyond performative nonsense you learned in public school. As right now on Reddit, you see countless stories of people receiving final orders of deportation, panicking as they don't know what to do.
Yeah. Reddit has an anti-ICE thread? I don't know what it's called over on Reddit whenever there's like a group of people. What are they called? Yeah, it's gotta be a Reddit thread, right? Yeah, there's an anti-ICE one. fucking insane. And they're just kind of like, they're showing us where they're at and what they're about and what they're doing. Like, how stupid can you be?
And if these activists actually believed what they're crying over, they would be volunteering to connect them with immigration attorneys, or working tax-free overtime shifts to pay for those said legal fees. But no, they saw the countless times their marches in the streets did absolutely nothing for their movement and thought, maybe this time—
No, it did do stuff for their movement. It actively hurt it. It actually killed it. Because when you pander to insane people and talk about insane things, then that's who you get in the streets acting out. They crash out for you. You did it. You wanted them to do this, you fucking idiots.
time will be different. So if you appreciate my concise, lighthearted commentary on the tragic status and
Decoy
today's
Voice.
reality, subscribe to Decoy
Yep.
Voice.
I got him down there in the description. Go subscribe to him, man. This dude's fucking awesome. Super based.